We'll call it like the all Squatcher episode.
Yeah.
Something like all Squatch.
I'll squatch all the time.
Oh, see, that sound's back. Okay, wait, it's gone. This is Monsteropolis, a show about squatching. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Seth Breedlove. I'm joined as always by my pals, Mark Matsky.
Hey,
Heather
how the squatch are you?
Hey, about to squatch my back.
Oh boy.
And Heather Mosier,
Hi.
Squatcher extraordinaire. She's Squatcher.
She,
Oh jeez.
Dr. Squatch.
Dr. Squatch. Okay,
What
tell
are we
me.
doing here?
You've seen the commercials for Dr. Squatch soap. Have you seen these?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
have? They're the best commercials ever created, and I will actually look them up on YouTube if I'm having a bad day just to watch them. I contacted the comedian that is in it and told him how much I appreciate
you have
his
consoled
craft.
me
Yeah, for real.
with
He replied.
really? Did you send a sample?
No. Just said thanks for the appreciation, you know.
Wow.
Whatever. No, it's hilarious. If you haven't watched them, just watch them. They're
What
great.
is it? What is it called
Dr.
again?
Squatch soap on YouTube.
Dr. Squatch.
All right. Love you too.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah. All right. Listen, the people who know. No one, if you've seen it, you would agree.
So you and I think, both have the same affliction, which is that we fall for internet marketing schemes.
Listen, if they do a good job,
Yeah.
I feel like I
Well,
should get whatever it is
I
because
don't
they
even-
worked hard.
I'm not even.
They've earned your
they earned it.
business.
Yeah, I don't
That's
even-
why we have some Dr. Squatch soap in our house. I'm
Oh my
serious.
Oh, you have
You did
some.
it. Was it
Yeah.
on Instagram ad?
No,
or?
it wasn't Instagram. It was a YouTube thing.
Is it exfoliating?
Yeah.
Well,
How's
I got
smell?
it for Corey. I didn't use
Is
it.
it
I
covered
just-
in hair?
No.
Squatch.
Oh, I got
it
it
like
for
pine-
Father's Day. I got my
Is it
dad.
pine
There's
scented?
pine tar. That's one of them. Bay
Pine
rum.
tar.
Whoa.
Bay rum.
Don't take that into a baseball stadium.
Could get ejected for that
They just
stuff.
came out with a Star Wars line.
Of Dr. Squatch?
Yeah.
You got to give it a
Whoa.
completely different name. That doesn't even make sense.
No, it makes sense in
Is
the
it
ad. I'm
Wookiee?
telling
Is
you.
it
Look it up.
Wookiee scented? Or
No,
what's
there's Yoda is on the one,
Oh,
and
boy.
then I don't know. I'm not a Star
It's
Wars
not
person.
officially licensed. There's no,
No, I
way.
think it
Ow.
is.
Ow.
You're such a liar. That didn't even touch you, did it?
George
No,
Lucas
they-
uses
Come near
it, doesn't
me.
he?
Anyway,
Hey.
all
Hi,
right.
guys.
So if you need soap, Dr. Squatch.
Dr. Squatch. We're not sponsored.
Brought to you by.
We're not officially sponsored yet.
Listen, it's see Star Wars. It's
It is
officially
officially
licensed.
licensed. This
See,
is
I
bizarre.
told you. They know what's up.
Finest soap in the galaxy.
TM.
Yeah. See, they're licensed because it's so awesome.
Okay.
You think that I'm joking?
I'm-
But
Now with real kyber crystals.
Oh yeah. You read about it during the Senate. The next Senate meeting, Senate Majority meeting, on Alderaan or whatever. Nerds. That was a joke, by the way.
was it?
I look. Have you been in my living room? I've got like going back in the 90s. All I did is sit in my house and read Star Wars extended universe fiction, not the nonfiction, Star but the fictional side of the Star Wars universe. And
Fictional side.
I spent all my graduation money on Star Wars toys. Some of those Star Wars toys out there were toys that I bought. This was 1999.
Yeah, I
and
knew the year.
The Phantom Menace was coming out. Young Seth loved Darth Maul. And they had the little like microchips in with the action figures, the action
Oh,
figure
yeah.
line, and you could like play dialogue or something from the movies. Anyway,
Squatching.
this week's sorry guys. This week's episode was inspired by a listener question. I'm gonna read the email. Hey guys, love the show. Probably the best podcast I've ever listened to. I also love Bigfoot. And I love when you guys talk about it. Please bring back Sasquatch. You guys should talk about your top 5 favorite squatching locales. Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Seth, keep on smiling.
Who wrote that?
Tiffany. What's up, Tiffany?
Wow. Thanks for writing.
Thanks for
Tiffany.
writing for real,
That was
Tiffany.
so kind.
Keep them coming.
That was really encouraging.
Oh, I can't. Oh,
All right.
it's too hot in here.
She spells her name weird. TIPHANY.
Oh, really?
What?
Oh, I thought it was going to end with an I for some reason.
Tiffany.
Oh my word.
Tiffany.
Yeah, maybe it could be.
Oh no. Okay.
You know, after all those brutal iTunes reviews, it's nice to have a encouraging email.
Is this Tiffany? Oh, no. I thought you were going to read a positive review.
No.
Let me read one.
Why don't you read one?
Hey, guys. Love the show. Best show on iTunes. Ted.
Man, the people with the T names,
Yeah.
they're so nice.
You know, not a lot of parents have an imagination when it comes to naming children.
Some people don't have an imagination when
Tiffany
it comes
and
to
Ted
names.
do not have that problem.
Yeah. Especially Tiffany.
Tiffany. Okay, so no, for real, this email just really got us thinking about where have we gone squatching that we love and we want to go squatching more. Where could we go to squatch and just constantly squatch? And every time we go out squatching, we see a squatch or we hear a squatch or we have a squatch throwing rocks at us. We see some squatch eyes shine. We find some
Smells.
squatch poop.
Smells, yeah.
Same category.
Same, right?
Yep. Squatch smells, squatch poop.
Oh man.
Collect a lot of squatch evidence, all kinds of evidence. Squatch hair,
Here,
squatch
stick structures,
stick structure, squatch sticks
braided hair on
horses. Yeah, that's my favorite squatch
and that's when you know you are
in squatch land.
close.
All right, we're less than 10 minutes in. I'm going to have to take a break.
Is this the episode where we've jumped the shark?
Yeah.
This is our jump the shark episode.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, so this week we I don't know why I'm going back to that. I just keep going this week. So for real though, Mark, where do you typically go squatching?
Where do I go when I go?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for years it was Salt Fork State Park.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wills Creek, which is a little bit west of the
hold
Salt
on.
Fork area.
Let's talk.
Should
Let's talk listeners through Salt Fork.
Okay. All right. I got excited, I guess.
Yeah. You just moved on. Wills Creek, what? Let's go one at a time. We're trying to fill 40 minutes here.
Okay, well,
All right. Spend some time on it.
Salt Fork.
Give
well,
the history of the old stone house.
oh, well,
that was a joke.
all of okay,
Wow. Just cut him off.
yeah.
He was so excited.
No, go. I want to
I was
talk about Salt
downloading
Fork.
the information.
All right.
Just getting ready.
Salt Fork State Park.
You know what? The weirdest thing to me still to this day about Salt Fork is the fact that the whole waterway system there was created by people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was just land that was donated or claimed. And somebody had the idea to, dam the few streams that were there and cause this recreational park. So Salt Fork was, I think it was strip mine land or something like that. And it was reclaimed as state park land and created specifically for recreation and to draw people to Southeast Ohio.
When was it
To come down there.
created?
It was like,
Park.
I want to say
It wasn't that
40s or
long
50s.
ago.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been that long?
Yeah. When they started the process. Because
Okay.
you see like,
I was thinking 90s.
no, it was further back than that. But
Right.
they reclaimed like people's farms and
Oh.
homes and things. And you can evidently, some of that stuff still exists underwater.
Oh, I like those kind of stories.
Yeah. You see the oldest pictures of the park, and it's all clear cut. That's another thing that's kind of dramatic about Salt Fork, is that this isn't old growth forest at all. In fact, it's fairly new as far as forests go.
Which is why I think it's so overgrown. Like the undergrowth is so thick because it's like a fairly new forest, so you get that thick undergrowth. The old growth forests I've been in tend to have very little undergrowth. I don't know why. Someone will write in to tell us. You said that about houses and stuff underwater. Upcoming episode of On the Trail of Hauntings, we get scuba gear. All right, and we go underwater.
Whoa.
This hasn't been filmed.
to
You're
look
just
for ghosts.
throwing that out there.
Yeah, upcoming Hauntings episodes.
Yeah? Where are we going to go?
You know, all sorts of places.
As long as we have our scuba gear,
Yeah,
we're
as
good.
long as we got the scuba gear. Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off, Michael.
Well, then Salt Fork, of course, has earned its reputation as a Bigfooty place within the
Mecca.
Sasquatch Triangle at one of the points of the triangle, I guess. And I mean, the thing, if you ever make it down to Salt Fork, which I would recommend as a fun day trip or what have you, but the park has embraced it completely. You go into any camp store or their gift shop in the lodge, and half of it's Bigfoot related items.
Yeah.
And
Some of their Bigfoot items in the gift store are better than the Bigfoot items you can find at the Bigfoot flea market, which takes place during OBC every year.
Yeah.
That's not a knock on
Right.
Bigfoot
No, it
vendors,
is.
but they have cool stuff.
Yep.
How many experiences have you had? How many Bigfoot squatches have you seen at Salt Fork?
I have seen 0.
Oh. When you puked.
Yeah, we did take a little excursion.
Oh, no.
And it's just Andy and I hiking around Salt Fork, and he suddenly fell ill. And
Is that the first time that sort of thing has happened?
no.
Oh, okay.
No.
No, I've been around you when you puked at least once.
But yes, this on the way home. Did we take a picture with
Throwing up?
with that Bigfoot in that store? Was that same trip? And it was soon afterwards that you threw up in the back seat of my fairly new
Oh,
car.
nice.
Oh,
Lovely, Andy.
jeez.
All right.
Wow.
Classless.
So I think, that was our infrasound experience,
yeah.
basically.
Wills Creek, where's Wills Creek at?
It is probably,
Same area.
15, 20 minutes west, directly west of Salt Fork, and a little less traveled. There's a lot of residences and cabins and so forth in and around that area, but that has historically been it's all waterways and so forth, and that's been the off the beaten path type place in the same general area as Salt Fork that evidently has a lot of activity.
How far is that from Woodbury, where the white Bigfoot was seen during the 80s?
I'm not sure.
All right.
I don't know. Where is Woodbury?
Woodbury Wildlife Area. That's where the tall. Remember?
Oh, well, it's probably no more than
area is
no more
where-
than 20 minutes away.
All right.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the area where when Keating was investigating,
Oh,
he
right.
spent so much time in Woodbury, but Woodbury area outside Coshocton is where those. We used
Right.
to talk about this on Sasquatch all the time.
Yeah.
but there was
This
that,
is okay. Then that would be north of Wills Creek.
okay.
Yeah.
There were sightings of like this for listeners to Monsteropolis who haven't listened to Sasquatch. There were sightings of this white Bigfoot who was supposed to be like 10 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
And like the sheriff or something had a sighting of this thing. Said it crossed the road, and he was able to figure out how tall it was because it slammed into a stop sign or something as it went up the hill, like dented the sign or something. But it was like, he said when it walked by the sign, its head was like above the sign. And this is like a 9 foot plus sign. And this was like a local sheriff down in that
Yeah.
Woodbury area.
And Keating himself had multiple sightings of a light-colored creature, and his famous VHS video features something that's light-colored and extremely large, extremely tall, going by the fence posts and stuff that are in the picture.
And he did a documentary about that. Mark DeWorth gave me a copy of that to watch once, then demanded it back a week later.
Did you get a chance to watch it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
You kidding me? Copied it. For sale on eBay right now. I'll sign it.
You'll sign it? My work right here.
Favorite Squatchin locale, Heather Mosier.
I've not been squatching.
Come on, Heather. Get your head in the game.
I'm sorry.
All right. So
I
Heather,
haven't been.
we're going to talk about this though, because Heather has access to probably some of the most squatchy locales in Northeast. That's not Northeast. That'd be East Ohio, Eastern Ohio.
There you go.
Right outside Minerva. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Can you talk about it? Take us there mentally.
Right.
Set the stage
All right.
for listeners. Where are they going? They're leaving Minerva. Don't give them an address or anything, but like talk.
You turn left. No.
Yeah. It's all right. No, it's true.
Wow. Shh. Yeah. So it's like just the beginning of the foothills of the mountains there, but so rolling hills, farmland, forests. Some of them are pine forests. Not all of it, but sections of it. And there's been lots of activity there, not just on our particular property, but people in the general vicinity have seen things and heard things.
The creek, this was the first thing that I realized when I got there, was that the creek that runs through the property is the Sandy Beaver. Is that Sandy Beaver
yeah.
Canal? Yeah. It's the same creek that runs behind the Caton's house.
Yeah.
So it's all connected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in certain times of the year, even just down the road from where we are, where my mother-in-law lives, she had noticed that there would be like howling and things in the evening and then in the morning. Almost like, I think at one point she said it was almost like they were calling back, like when they'd leave in the evening and then in the morning calling back before the sun came up. And she saw something odd once.
Talk about that, because it's a cool story.
Yeah, so she messaged me on Facebook early one morning and was like, I'm telling you this because I don't think that you'll, think I'm insane or whatever, like I don't think you'll tease me. I can't remember her exact phrasing, but it was something along those lines.
You showed her.
No. Anyway, so her property is absolutely beautiful, and she can, every morning will sit and look out over the fields to watch all kinds of wildlife.
It's an unbelievable location. It really is. Like we shot recreations there for Rougarou, huge soybean, and then
soybean, corn, and
sunflower, big, just huge fields, and then
ponds.
Yeah, ponds, forest.
Yeah, it's great. But so she'll have her coffee and look for the deer or the fox, or there's eagle and heron and all that. Anyway, but she said she saw in the field, like the crops had not come up yet, and she saw what she thought was more like a bear or something hunkered over. And so she went to get her camera, because she always has a camera nearby to take pictures. She posts them on Facebook. If you know her, you'd know that this is what she does. And before she had a chance to really do anything, it stood up on two legs and then took off across the field. And she said that it was gone within just a few steps. And she's like, she'd never seen anything like that, so she doesn't know what it is or was, but it was, weird. So I was super excited about that.
Yeah.
I was like, we need trail cams. We need a lot of stuff up, but.
And you're within two miles of the Caton's house.
Something.
If you're out there, and so we're doing a Beyond the Trail out there later this year.
That's the rumor.
Yeah. Oh, we've been kicked out.
No, just,
But that is one thing about that area that I think gets overlooked a lot. Is like the Minerva stuff didn't end in 78 or whatever. There's always activity taking place out there.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
always reports coming in.
well, even a couple years ago, there was a thing in which I don't know how true it is, but there was a guy that was had wrecked his vehicle
Oh yeah,
early in the morning.
I remember that.
This is why I don't know. Like the story would be as if somebody were drunk and wrecked their vehicle, but his story was that he saw a light colored
He was buckled.
Bigfoot. Yeah.
He was
buckled.
driving buckled.
Maybe. I don't know. But he saw a light colored Bigfoot run in front of his vehicle and it swerved. And that's what caused him to act.
The Bigfoot swerved.
Yep.
Okay,
Swerved. And he was going after it. So he wanted to hit it.
is that true?
No.
Oh,
Jeez. No, he swerved.
all right.
The
He swerved, I
driver. The
swerved.
driver. He zigged, he zagged. You know.
Buckled and swerving.
Yeah. But no, they're in the railroad tracks. Do you remember the railroad tracks that are run? So at the a couple miles away, that crosses Route 9.
Mm-hmm.
And right where it crosses Route 9, there have been people seeing Bigfoot go across those tracks right there.
Not to cut you off, but
It's fine. You do it all the time.
Squatchiest place I've ever been.
Yeah.
My thing is, like, I don't even know where to. We talked so much about different locations on this show. I want to talk about a place that I have no idea if there's Squatch there, and that is southern Louisiana.
Ooh, wait, the Honey Island Swamp Monster, right?
Oh no!
I can hear the buzz from here. I heard that.
Sorry, listeners. We're having issues. So when we were there, we interviewed a witness who's featured very prominently in the film, and him and I had an extended conversation after the interview about Bigfoot in the area, and he was telling me about all the Bigfoot sightings that took place down there.
Roy?
Yes, Roy.
Okay.
And how those sightings don't happen anymore down there, which is similar to, I guess, the Rougarou stuff as well. And that's because of that, the coastal erosion and the a lot of the forests down there are going away.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was so interesting because if you believe Bigfoot's a real creature, the logging, the danger like logging would cause for something like a Bigfoot, you can argue about that because like we have no idea. They might just move to another part of the forest until the logging is done, then make their way back. Like, but something like the coastal erosion and the fact that those, you can see where that land used to be is no longer there. Like those forests are no longer there. That's super interesting to me. And how he would talk about, he was telling me about like all the stories when he was growing up about people encountering hairy monsters in the woods. And he wasn't talking about Rougarou. Like he was talking about Bigfoot.
Right.
And that today, like those forests that he grew up in are completely gone and everything, like they're underwater. The other thing was when we took the a swamp boat out into the Atchafalaya Basin, which is just this massive, what's wrong?
No, I just like the name.
Oh, Atchafalaya. We took this boat out into the Atchafalaya Basin and we were way out, we were on the boat just to get, so it's so cool. Did we do a Rougarou episode where we talked about the filming? I can't remember because I don't want to just rehash.
We talked a little bit about the guy. The guy who took you out.
Yeah, that guy was hilarious. But you had to, so he's on this boat, he takes us back, you have to go through this like flood lock where you go into this like, you've seen those before where they let the water in, then your boat goes up and then you go out. It was
That's cool.
Super weird. But and then we were on that for like miles and miles back into the actual swamp. And I'm back there and it's like there's no way something couldn't live back in here. Like you're so far, but there's animals everywhere. There's like plentiful food sources. And then the water, it's not all swamp. There's still forest back in there. It's just surrounded by swamp. So to me, despite the fact that I haven't actually spoken to anybody that's seen a Bigfoot down there, Squatchiest place I've been lately, southern Louisiana, guys.
When you said something about the logging and then Bigfoot moving to a different area possibly and then coming back. It reminded me of there was a lot of activity in the Carroll County area as far as Bigfoot sightings. But then we had a gas and oil
fracking.
boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they started fracking into the area, everything stopped.
Yes. Now I have.
Yeah, but it started back up again from what I'm understanding.
Oh, really?
But it took a couple years.
So we've talked about this on the show. There was there used to be sightings over by the old Bolivar Dam, and then they started fracking down there. And do you remember? There's a story that goes along with this. I don't know if you'd remember, but there was someone tried to pull one over on me. Do you remember this?
No.
Made up stories about Bigfoot being seen on the Bolivar Dam.
Really?
At the height of all the fracking, and when I got the sense that whatever I was being told wasn't true, so I kind of like started throwing questions at this person to see if they would catch on or if they knew what I was talking about, and they never did. And I knew that, so that was how I knew that everything was being made up.
Okay.
Because they'd closed down the dam. There was no one out there. And the stories that this person was telling me all involved people like walking on the dam or driving their car over the dam.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah, you can't get out on the
Yeah,
dam.
there's no access to it.
Yeah, this is all made up. But that is true. There used to be sightings down there all the time. And those have gone away. I would assume over time those will probably go away anyway, just because that area outside of Canton, that's Canton South, is starting to just move slowly in that direction, like the development and stuff. Similar to here, where you had all the sightings of the River Styx monster from the 60s and 70s up till like the 90s. Then they start developing everything here, and then the sightings just taper off and completely stop in the early 2000s. That's because if you drive out there, it's just houses everywhere. Squatching. You have what else? Where else do people go squatching? Where do you love to squatch?
Well,
back to Mark.
Yeah, I would say the great state of Washington would be my favorite place to squatch.
You keep posting pictures.
Yeah, well, I follow hashtags like PNW and Olympic Peninsula, and whenever something that I've seen comes through, I put it up there. I am.
Follow hashtag Alaska. It makes no sense. There's like, I follow hashtag Alaska, and it's all these pictures of like Norway and Iceland.
Yeah.
I'm like,
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, why?
People mix hashtags. I've noticed that too.
Yeah, they must get bored. Like they figure, we've shown every Alaska picture we have. What else looks cool?
All right.
But yeah, Washington for sure. And I have a question for you that I want to ask before this episode is over. But yeah, this was really on my mind lately because it keeps showing up in my feed, and like Soul Duck Falls shows up every day just about. But having the opportunity to go out with the Olympic Project folks and see the sites and visit the nest site and so forth. It's wild.
We saw everything. And we didn't see everything, but we moved around that peninsula from one end to the other over the course of that week. We saw a really good range of what's there. I think we saw more of the peninsula than we had the Adirondacks, because when we were in the Adirondacks, we kind of were only to that eastern edge.
Right.
In Washington, we moved, and even going to that other area by the nest site.
Yeah.
And to get to see it from, I'm not allowed to give some of these details. I'm starting to talk about things I'm not supposed to talk about.
I think what strikes me about being out there is the vast scale of everything that you see, which like the trees are not just trees that we're used to in Ohio. These are gigantic trees, and there's evidence of trees that dwarfed the ones that you see now, that the logging industry pretty much took care of. But, and in that context, even something that's 7, 8, 9 feet tall doesn't seem that big or out of place if it's moving through a forest or a wilderness area that is that immense.
Yeah.
And, I was looking at facts and figures about the park itself and the acreage of the national park Olympic is larger than Rhode Island, which that's pretty big.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And as I've said before, we've talked about this a lot. The thing that characterizes the Olympic National Park the most, I think, and makes it distinctive is that you can't go through it. You can only go around. There's some ways that you can drive into parts of the park, but you can't drive through the Olympic National Park. So you kind of form a ring around it, and which leaves a lot of land in between, and it's mountains, at its highest peak around 8,000 feet. So I think to this day, that's largely untraveled, uncharted. I mean, there have been climbing groups that have gone through, but you're not getting daily traffic through the Olympic mountains at all.
It looks so different from other places we've been. And the climate or the weather changes so quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, we always called it middle, you and I called it Middle Earth.
Right.
Because when you go to, especially like Lake Crescent, it looks like you're in Middle Earth.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it belongs in a Tolkien book. Like it doesn't look real.
Right.
And there's so many like, what's the beach? Oh, Rialto. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Like Rialto is the most beautiful place I've been. I think anyway. That's like the most, and that airplane ride, can't beat it. Get up there in the air, see Middle Earth from the sky.
Right.
You won't throw up. You won't pass out. I promise.
Yeah.
Promise.
No problem.
Sarcasm.
Yeah. Aaron won't be turning various shades of yellow. What question? You said you had a question?
Oh, yeah. Like if we were ranking,
Squatchiest place.
yeah, where would X be? Area X, where would that fall
Well,
on
that's
your...
the Squatchiest. It's
Yeah.
That is the
because you I feel like if we went in there today, stuff would be happening. And like there's nowhere else where I've gone where I would have that sense. Like even like the Olympic Peninsula, the Adirondacks, like various places in Ohio, like all the places we've been. I have never had the sense that I had when I was in there, where like as soon as you were in there, you're like, oh, like stuff's here right now. Like you get out of the car and it's just happening, and like you can go in there and it's definitely X. The thing about X that's so different from the other places is I don't want to go to X. Like I want to go to X to experience things, but it's not like, and I'm not saying this about the Ouachitas in general because they were gorgeous, really reminded me of like the Great Smokies or something, beautiful area. But X itself is not a fun place to be. It's not like beautiful. You're down in this valley. It's friggin' hot and humid. It randomly will start raining on you out of nowhere. Everything wants to kill you. And we used to say that about Boggy Creek. And now I'm like, it makes Boggy Creek look like, it makes Falk look like, Sandals, Jamaica. Like you go into X and we saw two Black Widow spiders within the first 5 minutes of being in there. And so like even just the little things are going to go after you.
Do they have boars and hogs and stuff?
Yeah. Wild hogs. There's snakes everywhere. Black bear. The stuff in there. And mountain lion. There was the mountain lion that was seen on the hill behind the camp the week I was there. So that's like, so there, and just I had a migraine the whole time I was miserable. The entire 2.5 days I was there was absolutely miserable. But it's not a fun place to go, but I definitely want to go back. I don't know if they'd let me. I think it would be interesting to go experience the Watchdogs. Separate from X. Like maybe I could convince them to let me come back into X, but I think it would be cool to go there and just be in the Watchtower area. Because you and I talked about it, but the Bigfoot is such a big part of the culture there that it's almost like the PNW. Like there's gift shops and everything that have Bigfoot stuff, and there's the Hanobia Festival and all that kind of stuff is out there. It's this weird thing. You do not think of Bigfoot when you hear Arkansas or Oklahoma, but especially Oklahoma. Like Oklahoma, you just think of fields and prairie, but it's definitely the Squatchiest. I don't even. Yeah. If you were ranking them, that's number one, and then way, way, way down the list is everything else.
Yeah, it's really interesting to consider if there's a way you could get adjacent to the Area X property, just on public lands or something, like state parks or something.
Got this covered. I've never thought about this till this moment, but now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, I want to go back because the area, I follow all the watchdog hashtags.
Oh,
and they post videos and stuff all the time of places I never got to see because I only went in, got to be with Alton at his cabin at the top of the mountain, and then went down the mountain and around. And I mean, that's the worst part about going into X. It's 2.5 hours in this car, just not flipping, but shaking all over the place. When you get out of the car and you're finally there, you're like ready to puke everything you've eaten in your life up. Because it's not a fun ride in. I hope someday my dream would be that I could take like a good sized group of people in there. Like, because I would love to go. It's one of those things where like the nest site, like for you talked about how it really like hit you in a pretty major way. I feel like X is like that, but it's not just the like evidence of things. It's that there's activity. I've talked about it before. I heard an Ohio howl in there, and it doesn't even register that I heard that unless I really think about it. But I heard that. We heard samurai chatter in the road one day while we were just walking. Like, we walked out of camp and we were walking down they were going to show me a waterfall. We're just out on the road and we hear talking behind us. We stop. 2 seconds later, Bob and Kathy pop up on the radio. Are you guys talking on the road down there? We're like, no. And they're like, we hear you, and you could hear it. I mean, like,
wow,
just back up the road.
Yeah.
Just constant stuff going on.
Huh.
That's not counting like the rock throw and the screaming. So, but it was definitely an owl. All right. Anything else? Should we rank these? Should we each go through our top 5 Squatchiest places?
Oh, wow.
I'll go right now. All right.
Okay.
Ready? I'm going area. It doesn't have to be in order, but Area X.
Okay.
The Olympic Peninsula, the Adirondacks, Great Smoky Mountains, Louisiana. Southern Louisiana. That Fouke area is super cool, but I feel like Louisiana just trumps it for me because of how much swampland there is. There's nothing traveling around out there. There's no people out in some of those places out there. Yeah. So
No,
top 5. Just
I don't
hop
have
on in here.
5. I don't have 5. Minerva.
What else? What else you got?
What?
Carrollton.
That's all in the same area.
Canton, Ohio.
I've not done the squatching thing.
But you've traveled West Virginia.
Okay,
all
I've
of
traveled,
West Virginia.
but all of West Virginia. When I go, I'm not like looking for.
Tiffany is going to be so disappointed you didn't
I'm
answer
sorry,
her question.
Tiffany. I don't know. Rhode Island. When I was in Rhode Island, the dark swamp was really weird. That area seems like it could be squatchy.
Yeah, Rhode Island.
Yeah, whatever. See, this is why I give up. I'm done. I'm out. Mark, what's your list?
Well, I'd say Olympic Peninsula, and then also the Cascades.
Oh yeah.
Mount St. Helens and Ape Canyon. That'd be.
Yeah.
I'll make those 2 distinct areas. Boggy Creek and Sulphur River, and that area was impressive to me. Adirondacks for sure. And, especially having been to Abear Road and then the hike down to
Poultney.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I would say just Southeast Ohio in general, not limiting it to Salt Fork because, it's sort of
Yeah.
squatched over, so to speak.
Squatched over.
But there's lots of other stuff in like Wayne National Forest,
forgot
all
about
along the
Adams
Ohio
County.
River. Yeah.
Because Adams County down there is super weird.
And
Ohio.
X would probably be on my list if I had been there,
Yeah.
When we finally do end up in Oklahoma sometime, it probably will jump up on the list just based on the level of activity that you've described.
Squatchiest places. You're welcome. Thank you, Tefani, for the email. If you want to send us an email, it's monsteropolismail@gmail.com. Leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. Ted left us a great review on iTunes.
Yep.
Maybe you could be like Ted.
Yeah, balance it out, please.
Yeah. We're at 2 stars on there, I believe.
We're clawing back up.
Yeah, we're coming back up, guys.
Oh boy.
Okay, so become a squad member on YouTube. Join the channel. Get stuff. It's not free stuff because you're paying for it, but there's all sorts of content on there for you to watch. Production diaries and all 5 episodes of Hauntings plus the round table.
What?
More episodes starting up in about 2 months. Santino's got to finish editing Lake Michigan. Not the lake. That's already been editing. That's already. He's got no work to do on that. Just Lake Michigan.
Not the lake
Mothman.
itself.
No.
Oh.
Okay, well, that does it for this week's episode. Mark, do you have some Squatchy advice to give to our listeners? Like what's the best piece of Squatchy advice before we...
best piece of advice I can give you is get out there.
Yeah.
Just get out from behind your computer, get off your couch, get out in the woods, just wherever you are, and experience it and see what happens.
Keep on squatching. That's my advice. Keep on squatching.
Thanks, Stefani.